You've probably heard someone say, you need to raise your vibration, and thought, okay, but what does that actually mean in real life? Because if it just means think positive and pretend nothing bad exists, that's not raising your vibration. That's disconnecting from reality. And at the same time, deep down, you feel there is something true about this idea. It's like there are days when everything flows, people are kinder, opportunities show up, and other days, it's as if the whole universe is in a bad mood with you. In this video, I'm not here to promise miracles or throw mystical language at you without any explanation. The idea here is to translate raising your vibration into something concrete that makes sense both for people who love spirituality and for people who love neuroscience and psychology. By the end, you'll know what raising your vibration is not, what it actually means in your body, your emotions, and your mind, and how to start changing your inner state without denying reality, step by step. First, what raising your vibration is not. Before we talk about what it is, we need to clear the field a little. A lot of people run away from this topic because they've only seen empty or guilt-tripping versions of it. Raising your vibration is not being happy 100% of the time, ignoring problems and pretending nothing hurts, repeating positive phrases while inside you're falling apart, believing that if something went wrong, it's because your vibe was wrong, and so it's always your fault. This kind of message is dangerous because it creates a new kind of prison. On top of being tired, anxious, or sad, you still feel like a spiritual failure for not managing to vibe high. Take a deep breath for a second. You are not a spiritual failure because you feel fear, sadness, or anger. You're human. Raising your vibration is not about erasing difficult emotions. It's about learning to relate to them from a different place, so they're not the ones deciding where your life goes. So, what is vibration anyway? Let's pull this word out of empty mysticism and put it into something you can actually feel in your body. When someone talks about vibration, in practice they're talking about the quality of your inner state. It's the combination of 3 layers. 1, your body, how your nervous system is doing, your breathing, your physical energy. 2, your dominant emotions, the background emotional climate, fear, gratitude, guilt, trust. 3, your focus of attention, what you keep feeding mental energy to throughout the day. Think of a radio station. You don't see the frequency, but it's there, broadcasting all the time. The program you hear depends on the station you choose. Your vibration is like the station you're tuned into right now. There are frequencies of fear, scarcity, comparison, self-punishment. And there are frequencies of presence, trust, curiosity, openness. When we talk about raising your vibration, we're not talking about magic. We're talking about changing the internal station, shifting your body, your emotions, and your attention so you stop living stuck in survival mode and start spending more time in creation mode. The neuroscience view, body, brain, and vibration. Let's translate this into the language of the brain. Your nervous system basically has 2 main modes: threat mode, fight, flight, or freeze. When your body feels something is dangerous, it releases stress hormones. Your heart speeds up, your focus narrows, you get more reactive, more defensive, more trapped in thoughts of fear and control. Safety mode, regulation, connection, openness. When your body feels relatively safe, it can relax. Blood flows more easily back to the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain that handles conscious choices, planning, empathy. You can see possibilities, have ideas, really listen to other people. If we borrow the language of spirituality, we could say, in threat mode, your vibration tends to drop. In safety mode, your vibration has room to rise. Not because some magic light appears, but because your brain literally shifts how it's working. Another important point, your brain has a negativity bias. It was programmed to pay more attention to what's dangerous than to what's safe, because that helped our ancestors survive. So if you don't train your attention, it will naturally slide toward comparison, criticism, worry. It's like your default vibration tends to sit lower, not because you're a bad person, but because you're running on automatic. It was programmed to pay more attention to what's dangerous than to what's safe, because that helped our ancestors survive. So if you don't train your attention, it will naturally slide toward comparison, criticism, worry. It's like your default vibration tends to sit lower, not because you're a bad person, but because you're running on automatic. Raising your vibration, in this context, means getting out of autopilot and starting to consciously train your body, your emotions, and your attention. Signs of low vibration and high vibration, without judgment. Let's drop the moral judgment and look at this like an inner thermometer. Some signs of a lower vibration can be a feeling of heaviness in the body, everything feels like effort, repetitive thoughts like, I'm not capable, what's the point? It never works out. Constant comparison, everyone else is moving, I'm the only one stuck. Living in replay mode, going over the past or rehearsing future disasters. Procrastinating not out of laziness, but out of fear of getting it wrong. Struggling to feel genuine pleasure, even when something good happens. Signs of a higher vibration tend to be a sense of presence. You're actually here, not only in your head, more curiosity than fear. What if it works? Starts to show up. A more relaxed body, breath a bit deeper, shoulders a bit less tense. The ability to enjoy small things without needing something huge to happen. You still feel difficult emotions, but you don't completely confuse yourself with them. Notice, the difference isn't having problems or not. It's how you inhabit yourself while the problems exist. 4 practical keys to raise your vibration without running away from reality. Now we get to the part almost no one explains. How to actually do this without pretending everything is fine when it's not. I'm going to give you 4 practical keys. None of them is magic. But if you really practice them, you start to change that inner station. Perfeito. Vou traduzir esse trecho todo das chaves para inglês coloquial, já corrigindo para 4 keys. I'm going to share 4 practical keys with you. None of them is magic. But if you really practice them, you start to change that inner station. Key 1. Start with the body, the ground of your vibration. There's no way to talk about high vibration in a body that's chronically exhausted, tense, and out of breath. Your body is the ground where everything happens. Some simple and highly neglected practices. 1-minute conscious breathing. Stop a few times throughout the day and do this cycle. Inhale through your nose counting to 4. Hold your breath counting to 2. Exhale through your mouth counting to 6. Do this 5 to 6 times. This sends a direct signal to your nervous system. We're not in immediate danger. Micro breaks. Instead of waiting for a vacation to rest, create 30-second breaks during your day. Stand up, stretch, drink some water, look out the window. It's short, but it's way better than nothing. You're teaching your nervous system that it doesn't need to live in war mode. Taking basic care of your sleep. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if every night you trade hours of sleep for scrolling on your phone consuming heavy content, your vibration won't go up just because you repeat mantras. Your brain needs recovery to be able to work in a better state. When you take care of your body, you're not being less spiritual. You're raising the floor so everything else can rise with it. Key 2. Attention hygiene. What are you feeding your vibration with? Everything you consume becomes something inside of you. News, conversations, videos, music, environments. It's not about living in a perfect bubble. It's about realizing your attention is the most valuable thing you have. Some practical questions to ask yourself. What have I been consuming the most lately? After using social media, do I feel more inspired or more drained? What kind of conversation do I feed more? Complaining, gossip, competition, or building, learning, presence? Small adjustments already shift your inner field, swapping 15 minutes of random scrolling for content that expands your mind or calms your heart, reducing exposure to sensationalist news that only trigger fear without giving you anything you can actually do. Setting a boundary. For example, not starting your day diving straight into other people's chaos. Raising your vibration has a lot to do with protecting the quality of what you let into your mind. Key 3. Rewrite your inner narrative. The strongest vibration you send out is not what you post online. It's what you secretly believe about yourself when no one is watching. Your brain works through patterns. If you've spent years repeating inside your head, I ruin everything, I don't deserve it, there's no point in trying, those phrases became wide-open trails in your brain. They feel like absolute truth, but they're actually trained stories. Rewriting this isn't about waking up one day and suddenly loving yourself unconditionally out of nowhere. It's a process. You can start with a simple exercise. 1. When you catch yourself in a really harsh thought about yourself, pause and ask, what story am I telling about myself right now? 2. Write that story in one sentence. For example, the story I'm telling is, I always fail and I will never manage to change. 3. Then ask, is this story 100% true in every moment of my life? Almost always, the answer is no. There's always at least one counterexample, even if it's small. 4. From there, create a new sentence that is more true and less cruel. Something like, I struggle to maintain changes, but I have managed to change things before. I'm learning. You don't need to jump from I'm a disaster to I'm amazing and perfect. You just need to move to something a bit more truthful and a bit more compassionate. Every time you do this, you're literally building new neural connections. That's how, little by little, your vibration shifts. Not through magic, but through practice. Key 4, short presence practice. Coming back to the now. A lot of low vibration comes from being stuck in two places where you have zero real power, the past that's already gone or the future that hasn't happened yet. A simple 2-minute presence practice can be 1. Sit in a way that's at least somewhat comfortable. 2. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. 3. Bring your attention to the points of contact of your body, feet on the floor, legs on the chair, hands resting. 4. Notice your breath without trying to control it. 5. Then pick one sense to explore for a few seconds: sounds around you, the air on your skin, the smell in the room. 6. When your mind comes in with thoughts, instead of fighting them, just name it mentally. Thought. And gently come back to the sensation you chose. This is meditation in real life. It's not about emptying your mind. It's about training your ability to come back. Each time you come back, it's a tiny act of raising your vibration. You step out of the chaotic narrative and return to the only place where anything can actually be created: the present moment. Here's that whole final part translated into colloquial American English, ready to use or no video. But what about when everything crashes again? You might be thinking, okay, sounds nice. But in real life, there are days when I manage to do this, and days when I just crash. It feels like I'm back to square one. This is important. Vibration is not a straight line. It's more like a heartbeat. It goes up and down. The problem isn't falling. It's abandoning yourself when you fall. Instead of using those low moments to beat yourself up. See, you can't keep anything going. You can start using them as feedback. What is my body trying to tell me? What have I been ignoring for way too long? Which of my needs is being run over? What small action can I take today to take care of this? Not the perfect one, the possible one. Raising your vibration in a mature way is not about living on an eternal high. It's about bouncing back faster, with more kindness and awareness, each time you slip. Raising your vibration is not about becoming some enlightened version of yourself who never feels anger, fear, or sadness. It's about learning how to live inside your own inner world with more presence, more awareness, and more loving responsibility. It's about recognizing that your body is not an enemy. It's an ally. Your emotions are not defects. They're messages. Your thoughts are not the truth. They're stories that can be rewritten. When you start taking care of these 3 layers, your frequency shifts. The same situations start to mean something different. You see paths you didn't see before, you show up in a different way. And that's why, on the outside, life starts to look a little different too. Not because the universe suddenly remembered you exist, but because you started to exist in a different way inside yourself. If this topic made sense to you, put it into practice in microdoses. Don't turn it into another pressure of, now I have to be high vibe all the time. Maybe, today, raising your vibration is as simple as breathing with a bit more awareness, saying one kinder sentence to yourself, choosing content that nourishes you instead of draining you, or just honestly admitting, I'm not okay, but I'm willing to take care of myself. That's where real change begins. Raising your vibration is not about becoming a perfect person, always zen, who never gets irritated or scared. It's about learning to inhabit your own experience with more awareness, more presence, and more gentleness. When you treat your body as the ground, your attention as the filter, and your inner stories as something you can revise, your frequency shifts first on the inside, then on the outside. The same problems don't magically disappear, but they don't drag you around in the same way. A small space opens up between what happens and how you respond to it. And it's in that space that your vibration rises. Not because everything became perfect, but because you started to exist inside yourself in a different way. So instead of turning this into another demand like I have to stay high vibe all the time, try something else. Micro doses of care. One more conscious breath. One piece of content that nourishes you instead of draining you. One inner sentence that's a little less cruel. 1 minute of presence in the middle of the chaos. That's how your vibration truly shifts. Not in one big mystical jump, but in a quiet, repeated, deeply human process. If this content resonated with you and you want to keep fine-tuning that inner frequency between your brain, your emotions, and what you call energy, I invite you to stay with us here at Inner Shift Studio. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. The whole idea is to create a space where spirituality and neuroscience can actually talk to each other, without fluff, without impossible perfection. Tell me in the comments, at what point in your day do you feel your vibration drop the most? Is it when you wake up, at work, late at night scrolling your feed? That's going to help me bring videos that are even more practical for what you really live. And if you know someone who's been feeling drained but can't stand one more shallow, just think positive kind of advice, share this video with them. Sometimes, change starts exactly with a different kind of conversation.